I wanted to start a unique FIFA 23 save. I didn't want to become a manager, but instead a director of football. We went straight in as Chelsea's director of football. Our first move was firing Lampard. We replaced him with Pochettino, which didn't really work out that well. Simeone was next, and he did way better. However, at the end of last season, we received an offer we really couldn't refuse. We're now Gerard Piqué's right-hand man, and will be the person in charge of running Barcelona. You might be wondering why we'd even move when we nearly won the title with Chelsea last season. Well, in the process of that second place finish, we'd also basically run the club into the ground. Our finances were a mess, we had very few young players, and the young players we did have were absolutely awful. But the main reason we moved was the fact we'd now be running two different teams at once, but we'll have more on that later. So, who do Barcelona actually have at the minute? Well, here's the team the day we took over. Neymar, Harry Kane and Ferran Torres is definitely an interesting forward line, but we'll be trying to make it a bit younger. Pedri and Gavi have been kept in midfield, and there's a big gap after Jordi Alba retired last year. Moving on from our first team, La Masia has now produced 3 potential future stars over the past couple of seasons. Anthony Coromina prefers to be known as just Anthony. He's one of those players that stays late after training, he practices his free kicks, he spends extra time in the gym, and his family have been club members of Barcelona since 1948. Gareth Morgan joined Barcelona as a 14-year-old after being released from Arsenal's academy. We're not sure why he was released because he's got potential to be an international star. Currently, there's a bit of a battle between England and Wales for his citizenship, and he's not entirely sure which nation he prefers. Finally, Tesfaye Gabri-Mariam was born in Ethiopia, but he grew up in Valencia. As a naturally shy person, Gabri-Mariam has had to prove every single person wrong. He's a lanky and lean winger, and it's interesting to think about how Barcelona could really fit a 6'5" winger into their tiki-taka style. But back to the main squad, let's see what Xavi wants us to do with transfers. First of all, he's requesting a new strong central defensive midfielder. He also wants a starting 11 worthy left back, and he wants to see if we can replace Harry Kane with someone a little bit younger. These suggestions are actually really good and will give us a good base for our summer's work. Harry Kane gets transfer listed, and at 32 years old, he'll be heading off to Newcastle. To replace him, we decide Lautaro Martinez is the best option. With Ansu Fati as a backup, our attack now looks pretty good. Let's also pick up João Cancelo for a few seasons while Alejandro Balde develops, and it's another easy deal done. A good central defensive midfielder is actually harder to find. Frenkie de Jong has only just left the club, and Declan Rice doesn't want to work with us again. It looks like the best option is probably Sandro Tonali, so he'll join us in Catalonia and be paired with Franck Kessié. So now we've got a partially rebuilt squad, it's time for the season to begin. We're into August, so it's time for Xavi to prove that he's the right man for our rebuild. We actually picked up 9 points from our first 3 games, so we really can't complain about him doing a perfect start. We set him a target of 25 points from our first 10 games. We need about this many points to be in the fight with Real Madrid. Anything less than 25 and maybe we'd be settling for being runners-up in La Liga instead. With the season now underway in the second division as well, we decided to have a look at our younger team. Barcelona B is now actually being managed by Andres Iniesta, so it didn't take long to see the difference in quality from Anthony, Morgan and Gabri-Mariam. Straight away, we let Xavi know that he should be considering all 3 for his next Copa del Rey match. We actually had a really easy tie in the next round, so Xavi did agree. Gabri-Mariam would replace Neymar in the lineup, Gareth Morgan would come in as a centre forward, while Anthony would get his chance in midfield. The rest of the squad is strong, so as we expected, we went on to win the game. The fans really appreciated all 3 of these debuts. So we're now entering December and we're doing pretty well in the league. Xavi's got us up to second place and we're just a couple of points behind Real Madrid. We've also, of course, got a transfer window that's just about to open, and we've got a decent amount of cash from selling both Harry Kane and Frenkie de Jong, so we're heading into January with a budget of £95 million. We sent an email to our replacement at Chelsea, their director of football. We noticed Real Madrid still hadn't put in a bid, so we could really use Reece James to be our future right back. We could offer all £95 million if they sold him in the next month. We know exactly how he plays, and there's only so many seasons that Jules Koundé will be happy to play as a fullback. Chelsea agree with the deal, Reece James agrees with the contract, and Xavi agrees that he'll fit in the first team. Barcelona now has a star defender. A few days after announcing Reece James, it was time to see our Champions League round of 16 opponents. With a tough tie, Xavi decides to rest the players for our league game against Almeria. It's another chance for our three wonder kids in Barcelona B. Gareth Morgan would actually go on to score his first senior goal, which was a proud moment for everybody involved. We go on to win both of our round of 16 games and both of our quarter-final games as well, meaning we're now in the Champions League semi-final. Our semi-final was going to be a repeat of the 2011 and 2009 Champions League finals, with us playing against Manchester United. The first leg was at the Nou Camp, and all the chances really happened in the last 5 or so minutes. The first chance fell to Ansu Fati, and the second one fell to the man we wanted it to fall to, Lautaro Martinez, but David De Gea was more than good enough to stop it. So that meant the first leg was going to end 0-0. We would have to go to Old Trafford, and we would have to beat Manchester United at home if we wanted to get to a Champions League final. I think we definitely do have the ability to do that though. You've seen us match and beat PSG, you've seen us beat Spurs, who actually have a better team than Manchester United in this universe. So it was all down to us. We had the players to win this match, and now let's see how we got on. Well, Osimhen was starting up front for them this time instead of Immobile. He really should have put them 1-0 up. Again, Rashford there with a penalty. He's really good at penalties, but it was a great save from our goalkeeper. Our first chance came after 38 minutes. Lautaro Martinez breaking through, but Kimpembe had just enough pace to get in the way of the shot. There was some really good possession play going on from both teams in this game. We have half a mind to maybe consider Ten Hag to be a future Barcelona manager. With play like that, I think that every single Barcelona fan would be more than happy to watch it. So that put us 1-0 down. With just a few minutes left, Lautaro Martinez again was totally foiled by David De Gea. Well, if we're being honest, the semi-final was our only goal really anyway. We're not going to be furious at such a narrow loss. Sure, we could have played maybe a tiny bit better, but our itchy trigger finger isn't going to be pulled just yet. If we miss out on the league title too though, that would probably constitute a failed season and the end of Xavi. We're ahead of both Madrid clubs by a couple of points with just 3 games to go. The problem is, one of these games is actually against Real Madrid. The first is an easy win against Valencia, meaning that if we can win this match against Madrid, we will become champions. So while Xavi deals with the warm-up, let's have one last look at the league table. So if we beat Real Madrid here, we'll go 4 points clear in first place, and with just 1 game left, there is no way that Real Madrid can catch us. If we do lose, it's still a chance we can go on to win the title. Of course, it is a really small chance, but let's hope we don't need to even risk using this chance, and we can just go and win comfortably in this home match against Real Madrid. As always, we've got our strongest 11 out. Ancelotti and Xavi have both thought about the tactics, and hopefully the younger man has gone with the right ones. As always, we're playing a really good possession style. We got our first chance after 7 minutes, Ferran Torres being pretty important in that one. Pedri and Gavi has been on midfield too for most of the season, but in this game, Gavi and Reece James are both suspended, which is pretty unfortunate timing. We're going to need all of our big name experienced players like Neymar to step up. You can see him pressing high and nearly scoring. His corner came across, and Saliba managed to finish the job. He jumped highest, he beat Blanco and Carvajal in the air, and we were 1-0 up after just half an hour. This is looking like a really good start for Barcelona. Real Madrid, of course, though, are dangerous, and Vinicius Jr. would go and hit the crossbar, but you know, it still would be 1-0 to Barcelona. Neymar would get a good chance from a really good first touch, and he would have 2 volleys, both unfortunately being saved or blocked by the Real Madrid defence. Another chance there, another volley, another good save just before half time. So with half the match gone, really important match, we were going in ahead, which was super important. Second half started and Pedri would play it through to Lautaro Martinez. He unleashed an absolutely unstoppable shot straight into the side netting and into the back of the net. We're not going to defend this lead, we're going for more. We know we can absolutely crush Real Madrid and have one of the best days in Barcelona history. Martinez getting involved again, and this time Neymar puts us 3-0 up. The attacking has absolutely paid off. Just a few minutes later, Lautaro's through 1-on-1. He makes it 4-0. This is absolutely insane. To say we only scored 1 in the first half, we've scored 3 in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Let's not take our eye off the ball though, let's try and at least keep a clean sheet. Look at this pressing from Real Madrid and look at the calmness on the ball from Barcelona. We played it the full length of the pitch and Ferran Torres would make it 5-0. An absolute destruction. Can Xavi go one better than Pep Guardiola did? He absolutely can. Ferran Torres makes it 6-0. The biggest win over Real Madrid that Barcelona have ever had. the referee blows his whistle, and we are worthy champions of La Liga. Not even a narrow win. We absolutely crushed them, and we fully deserve to lift this title. Well done, Barcelona. Well done, Xavi. You're not getting fired anytime soon. What a way to end the season. We became champions and beat our biggest rivals in El Clasico, but our work isn't done just yet as director of football. We have one last piece of business before we call it a season. Every June, international teams from all around the world head to the south of France to play in the Toulon Youth Tournament. Of course, as the head of the world's most famous academy, we had to make sure we also attended. We had a call with our Dutch chief scout, and he gave us the lowdown of who to look out for.
Canada has a striker you need to check out. People are saying he's quicker than Alphonso Davies.
Okay, cool. Anyone else we need to look at?
While you're there, check out the Ghanaian goalkeeper too. He's playing for Albacete, and I'm told he's interested in joining us.
So now we had our targets, we took our seats at the stadium. The first game of the tournament was Canada against Costa Rica, and our scout was absolutely right. Andre Morrison is a future star. We'll make sure to bring him over from Calgary. The Ghanaian keeper was less impressive, so let's leave him playing in Castilla-La Mancha. But that's another season done. Barcelona became champions, we also nearly made it to the Champions League final for the first time in a decade, and we've almost fully rebuilt their squad. I'd say this was a successful season, and hopefully you've enjoyed it enough to like this video. If we can hit 5,000 likes, we'll make another episode, but if not, make sure you subscribe because I've got a super interesting series I've planned coming out very soon. Thank you so much for watching, I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.